Hello, hello, my stamping friends. It's Christine Ludwig here from Christine's Stamping Spot. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in St. Albert, Alberta, and happy Monday to you all. Thank you for joining me at my Mystery Monday video today. I hope all the mums out there had a wonderful Mother's Day yesterday. Did you get spoiled? Did you get taken out for brunch or for dinner? Personally, my family cooked for me, so that was a treat with a little bit of help. So my son and I kind of figured out what to make, and I kind of showed him how to do it, and he did a fabulous job. And then my husband and daughter also pitched in. I didn't have to do the dishes, which was a bonus. So it was a really nice, relaxing day. So I hope you all enjoyed the same. So today we are going to take a look at this Waterside Retreat Suite. This is in our new catalog. Yay! It launched last week. And so now we're going to start playing with some new stuff, some new fun stuff. And when I saw this, this just brought me to the beach, and I love the beach, and I love, just sitting by the ocean and listening to the waves, and just so relaxing. So this was definitely on my list. So this is the stamp set, and these are the corresponding dies. So they look like this. So you have different pieces to cut out chairs and some of the grasses and a little coffee cup in the book. There's a couple of really great greetings in here, and even a couple of seagulls. Great for a Father's Day card, or just a birthday card, or a retirement card, I suppose. Lots of different ways you could use it. So that is that. And then if you're looking for it, it is here on page 20 of our new May to August catalog. Really, really nice summary feel to it. So here is the suite on these two pages. So some fantastic examples here, the colors that are used in some of these projects. So these are great for some inspiration. Okay, so you get in the suite, you get the stamp set and dies. There's some designer paper and some trinkets here. So I'm just going to quickly show you what those other pieces look like. So first of all, these are the trinkets. So they're called, upside down, loose anchor trinkets. And they're fairly large, actually, larger than I thought. But they're a great little accent to any sort of marine kind of themed card. And we have some old stamp sets too with ships and boats and different things, so definitely can use these. You can either tie them on with some twine. You could probably just use some glue dots to adhere them. So these are really, really fun. And you get, how many are in here? I can't quite see. I have to double check that number. Quantity is 20. So really good. And then this is the fun designer paper here. So we have some lovely stripes. These waves here. Some of the sort of watermarked almost seagulls on that pool party. Some nice plaid, kind of marine feel. Of course, the planks, the planks on the boats. And these would be good for any sort of masculine card or garden theme card. And then these really nice nautical stripes. And then here for the fisherman or the boater, there's some life jackets and oars and things that you can cut out by hand. They don't have dies to cut these out, but they wouldn't be hard to fussy cut, especially these oars would be fun. And here we have some of the life preservers and the buoys and things. And here, this is kind of a neat one with all the seagulls kind of going up in a swoop. That's kind of fun. And then the bicycles, because a lot of people like to ride bikes at the beach. And the fish, if you know anyone that's a fisherman. And this great piece, which is our cut apart panels. So you have different sizes, different little themes on them. right? And so we are going to use one of these in our project today. Here, the nice little cabin. And if any of you received the paper pumpkin in, is it April? I believe it's the April one. It is basically on this theme, and it was marvelous. If you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, or you would like to become a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, I would highly, highly recommend this refill on this kit. So great, so great. It made such wonderful cards. I wish I had them here to show you, but they all kind of corresponded with this particular suite. Okay, so I'm going to show you the project, and it is this one. Nice, relaxing, sitting at the beach, reading your book. So great for somebody's birthday, for Father's Day. You could, like I say, make it a retirement card. So this is that panel that we are going to use. So it is this one, which we're going to cut out. So using these panels saves you a lot of time as far as creating your own background. Nothing says you can't create it. I've seen great samples where people have done different blending colors, to make their sky and their sea and their sand. You could do paper tearing for the sand as well. Lots of different options. And then we have different stamps for the grasses as well, right? So if you just wanted to do that, you don't even need this. But if you're in a bit of a hurry for a card, or you just want something, fairly beautiful and simple, this sheet is wonderful for that. And this is a huge panel here as well. So we're going to cut this one out. I'm just going to grab my paper trimmer. And this pattern has the stripes on the back. Excuse me, frog in my throat. So these are really easy to cut apart because you can just see the lines where you cut, right? So I'm going to start by cutting this off. And then you've got, these two you can cut apart. You can cut apart those two, these ones, like they're all very simple. Just line up these lines in your paper trimmer and they make for some great simple cuts. So we are going to place it this way. And we're gonna line up this line as best we can. You can always go over it and trim it a bit if you need to. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so now we have this piece. So now I'm just going to cut off this panel and this panel, and then you could cut these two apart. This is your own separate panel you could use on another project. I love these panels. I think they're a really, really great way to add some backgrounds. Okay, so this one. Now, this background is actually, when you measure it, it is a 5.5 by 4, which is almost the size of our card base, right? So you could put it the whole way across, or you could trim it down a 1/4 inch on the side, which is what I did here. I just cut off that 1/4 inch to make it 5.25 by 4. Now you could just leave it here and line up those edges as well. That makes a nice sort of portrait card. And maybe we'll try that. Let's go out of our comfort zone a little bit. So we are using a Secret Sea as our base. I thought a really nice nautical name for cardstock. Secret Sea. I thought that was great. Yeah, so we will start with this as our base. Where is my folder? Here we go. And I'm sure some of you are anxious or have already been out camping or will be out camping. Here in Canada, we have a long weekend coming up this weekend called Victoria Day in honor of our former queen who reigned for many, many years until Queen Elizabeth just beat her by a couple of years. But Victoria was one of our oldest monarchs, and city of Victoria, British Columbia is named after her. So we honor the day next Monday, and that typically is a sign of the first big camping weekend of the year for people, or, you know, the great weekend to do some gardening and yard work and things. And it's always a great way to start off the summer. All right, so we are going to put this eventually, not just right yet, but we will put this so it's end to end this way, and we have that little bit of secrecy here, right? Okay, so I want to stamp some extra grasses here. So let's do our stamping first. So I have taken out, let me just show you the stamps that I used. So there are 2 different sizes of grasses here. So I'm just going to use the small one. And we will use Old Olive ink. That is one of the colors, I believe, in the cardstock. So the designer paper is called Waterside Retreat, Gray Granite, Misty Moonlight, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, Pool Party, and Very Vanilla. So nice color palette to choose from. So I'm going to stamp this full strength, and I am going to put our Adirondack chair there, but I will put this not quite to the bottom, about here, and I'll do it full strength, and then I'm just going to stamp it a second time a little bit later. And I think I might put an extra one here this time. I didn't on my sample, but I think I will here. I'm just going to put an extra one over here, maybe a lighter one over here. Okay, so that was Old Olive. So that is our stamping. This one, I am going to put a different greeting. So I'm not going to worry about stamping Relax on here, and we could do that later if we wanted. So now I am going to put this on our base, because the rest is just die cut pieces that we are going to add. So let's try to center this on this panel, right to the edge, leaving a little bit of that border on top and bottom. Might have gone, not quite. That's pretty good. I thought maybe it's sticking out a bit much, but it doesn't look too bad. Can always just trim that later if I need to. Okay, so there will be our base. We have our grasses stamped. Now let's put together our chair. So for that, you're gonna use, I'm just going to show you what these dies are for. So this is the chair die we are going to use, and we're going to use this backing here. There is also a different one with like just sort of plywood that you can use, but I think we will just use, yeah, see, I did use the plywood here, but we're going to make our chair using this one this time. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. Did I cut all my chair pieces? I do not think I did. But we'll mix up the colors on our chair. How's that? I did forget to cut a piece. Okay. Okay, we'll make it work, right? We're going to improvise. How do you like that? And then this large one, the chair, is if you were to stamp the chair image here, and then you can cut it out with this die. We have some grasses. We have one of the birds in flight. This is for the book. These are actually hand armrests here on the chair. Okay, so you can cut those out. This is the backer. We have some more grasses for stamped images or just die cut images, and then our other little seagull there, which I thought, oh my gosh, these might just be my extra pieces. I might be okay. I think I was looking at the wrong pile. And then when you cut this out, this chair, there's this extra little piece here that pops out, which you can use as a little border on the front of your chair. Okay, so let me bring those pieces in, and that will make more sense. Okay, so I'm going to just bring this mat in so you can see. So let's start with the chair. Ha, I did cut the right pieces. I was looking at the wrong pile. There you go. Because I had some extras. All right, so these were cut out of Coastal Cabana. So here's the base of our chair, and this is the back of our chair. So ideally, how this is going to work is you're going to slide this tab inside, and then that will make your back. So we are going to put some adhesive on here. The other back piece that I had, which I thought I'd have to use, was this one. And you could use this one if you wanted. Same idea. It's more of a sitting chair than an Adirondack chair, right? But you could definitely use that too, like as a patio chair or just another lawn chair on the beach. Okay, so you have options. All right, so what I'm going to do is, because I want this in here, I am going to put a little bit of liquid glue here. Just enough to tack down the back of this chair. Now I don't want a lot of glue because I don't really want it to be seeping out all over and making a mess. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit. And then we are going to slide this piece in and just line it up with those side panels and give it a press. Okay, this one to move over just a tad. Okay, so you're just going to press those down, and that will make the back of your chair. All right, we have a chair. All right, so let's put our little armrests on and our little front panel here. So I cut the armrests out of crumb cake, and then I had cut a second chair, the base of the chair, and out of the crumb cake so I could get this piece because I didn't want to put the same color on. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my tweezers because these are so small, and you'll see they have these little pieces that jut out. So that tells you which side of the armrest this should go on. So you want this one on this side, and you want this one on this side. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab my tweezers, and I'm just gonna put a spot of glue back here, and we will put that here on this side. Okay, and just give it a press. If you do not want to put these on, you do not have to. They're just meant as a little accessory piece, which sometimes even though these pieces can look really, what's the word I'm looking for, really piddly to work with, sometimes they just add that little spark, and that little spark of interest, like, what? Look at all that detail. You know, it just adds so much little detail to the project. Okay, so there are the armrests. I'm just going to see if I can push this one over a bit. Okay, so then we're going to attach this little wooden slat, if you will, on the front of our chair. And you can make your chairs any color. Those Adirondack chairs that you see sometimes, especially I know here in the Maritime provinces, you see them a lot. And they have just so many different colors. Some of the yards that you drive past, they're just so cool to see. All right, so there is our chair. So let's put this on top of our base, and for that I am going to use mini dimensionals, and we'll see how these go. Sometimes I've said we should almost have minis of our mini dimensionals because we can run across die cut images that are very tiny, like this one. Whoop, what happened to it? Ah. Oh my gosh, it's getting stuck to my fingers. There we go. So, I mean, you can definitely take the larger ones and just cut those, or cut a little piece off the edge. We will make it work, right? There's always a way. So let's put another one just here for good measure. And then I do want to put a couple on the back. So I'm going to try to put it on these largest slats in the back. I don't think you would quite see them there too badly. Oh, not too bad at all. Okay, so let's take off those backers. Okay. There we go. There is our dimensional. So now we can decide, where do we want to put our chair? Do we want it on the right? Well, that covers up quite a bit of our ocean. So I'm just going to put it kind of where we stamped that grass. And we'll pop it there. Oh, looks inviting, doesn't it? And then we're going to add our little seagull. So I stamped him. Here he is, this little dude. I stamped him in smoky slate. Okay, you could stamp him in gray granite. I guess you could even color his beak a little bit, but I didn't do that. So do I still have, I'm running out of my regular ones here. I think I'm going to have to cut a little piece. Use them up. Do you guys love going to the beach? Do you have a favorite beach? Do you have a beach close to where you live? I'd love to hear that if you guys do. We do not have beaches in Alberta. We have lakes, and sometimes we don't even have the best lakes. I shouldn't even say that, but there are some great ones somewhere, you know, in different parts of the province. We have great lakes for fishing and boating and things. But to actually swim in a really beautiful lake, there are some. You would just have to drive a little bit from where we are. And of course in the mountains, they have beautiful lakes and things there too. Okay, we'll put our little dude here. Oh, what's going on, buddy? Did I forget? I did. Forgot the backer here. Okay. I was wondering, why is he so high? There we go. And then we are going to add a book. Now, where's my book? Here it is. So this is also tiny. That's the thing. There are some tiny little things in here. So be careful you don't lose your dies or your stamps. So here's the book right here. And so I stamped that pecan pie ink on crushed curry cardstock. And I'm just going to put that on flat. I'm not going to pop it up. And we're going to have it like the book has been put down and is overturned. Okay, right to the page where the reader left off. Okay, so we'll leave that on the chair arm. And I think that's it for the chair. And then the greeting I chose was, so on my sample, I stamped relax in secret C directly on the cardstock. And then today is your day here. And this was cut out with something fancy dies. They are retired, but I really like the shape of this, and it just fit this perfect. You could also use the stylish shapes dies as well, but I really liked how this one turned out. So for this, I'm just going to do Have a Great Birthday, which I stamped on basic white with a secret C, and then I used my old small oval punch to cut that out because I thought it was just the right size for this. And then we're going to pop that up over here. So this I can use regular dimensionals on. Right here. And Father's Day's coming for those of you that like your kids, if they need a card for their dad, or you have your dad still, thankfully, this is a great Father's Day card too. So this, I think we're just gonna put right about here. And there you go. There is your relaxing Waterside card. Oh, doesn't that just make you want to go to the beach and go to the ocean, which is the best ever? Hopefully, many of you will have lots of opportunities to do that in the months that are still coming. So I hope you enjoyed that project. Definitely take a look at this suite of products in our new catalog. And don't forget, we have a join promotion for the month of May, where you can get all of our new in-color magnetic pads for free. So if you are interested in that, the promo runs from May 5th to the 31st, and that is in addition to what you can choose in your starter kit, okay? So if you want more information about that, feel free to visit my website. There's a join button there if you're interested. Love to have you on my Creative Circle team if you live in Canada. And yeah, I hope you give this a try. So have a wonderful week, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.